All here to the service in memory and in honor of our Jeffrey Four. Mourning is the price we pay for having the courage to love others. Even in grief, we know that the wonder of human life is too complex and too magnificent to be memorialized in endless pain. The gifts of spirit our loved ones gave us cannot be measured or weighed, nor can they be lost or even tarnished by time. Even in our darkest hours, we know that some of their light and their warmth will always be with us, bringing comfort and courage, and in the fullness of time, healing and peace. Tova, if I could ask a quick favor of you, there are cards on the front table. If you could hand those out, they have some of the prayers we need for today. We read together the 23rd Psalm. Oh, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for the sake of his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Jeffrey was full of surprises. I do not just mean that after he would leave me a message and I would call him back, he would answer, "Oh, hi, Rabbi," as though I were an old friend calling out of the blue after years apart. I mean the quiet, sweet, thoughtful man that so many of us knew was so much more than that. His wife, Catherine, explained that he loved, of all places, Las Vegas. He liked being in the thick of things. He loved traipsing around the strip, all the action, and the buffets. The king of buffets, she called him. The two of them met at the deli at Smith's. They sat, they talked, spent hours together. She later called him to thank him for a lovely meeting, and he asked if they could do it again, the next day perhaps. And they, of course, did meet again, went on other adventures. They went to Olive Garden and many dinners after that, and of course, many more buffets. When you got Jeffrey onto something that he loved, and there were so many things that he loved, he would not be shy. He loved baseball. Every week when I would see him in this room, he would be sitting there in his regular seats all the way in the back, like a fan, sitting in the same section at every game. And we would chat about our teams. For me, it was Cleveland. For him, Chicago White Sox. We would be sad every fall when the season came to an end. And then as preseason returned, we would start to discuss things in winter and look forward to spring and opening day and a new season. And it was not just baseball. He was a fan of many sports, such a passion that his cousin Elise even started keeping tabs on some of the teams just so they could have more conversations together. He loved history. When he went back to visit family in Chicago, Elise knew just where to take him. They went to historical Lake Geneva, to Kenosha and the Civil War Museum. He was so passionate about these things, other things like current events, and excited to share what he had learned. He loved his dogs, the puppies. He loved his family. He came to Nevada from California, his family having moving there from native Chicago when he was just 13. His brother and mother of blessed memory were both nearby here as well. And while he did not have much family left back in Chicago, he was fortunate to be able to reconnect with his cousin and visit and share. And he loved this community. Before the pandemic, he was a regular every week, seated there in the back, same smile on his face. Even in difficult times, he always managed a smile on Shabbat. Been able to see him again in this space. Even after we reopened during the pandemic, his health kept him away, but he often watched us online. For all the things that he was knowledgeable about, using a smartphone may have not been one of those, but he was there, watching and praying with us. After his surgery, I know it meant a great deal to him when we were able to visit. So many folks from this community stopped in to say hello, to check in on him, perhaps bring him a sandwich. And he was always respectful of everyone's time, apologizing for taking too long. I know I would always assure him that not only was it my job to help take care of him, but something that I enjoyed as well. Still, he didn't want to take too much of my time. And sadly, he spent too much time in hospitals and rehab facilities. And he did not have enough time on this earth. We all would have liked one more visit, one more service, one more ball game, one more conversation, even one more day. And we wish that his last days had been better, because he deserved better. As Rabbi Harold Kushner wrote, "We can't pray you make our lives free of problems. This won't happen, and it is probably just as well. We can't ask you to make us and those we love immune to disease, because you can't do that. We can't ask you to weave a magic spell around us so that bad things will only happen to other people and never to us. But people who pray for courage, for strength to bear the unbearable, for the grace to remember what they have left instead of what they have lost, very often find their prayers answered. They discover that they have more strength, more courage than they ever knew themselves to have." Thank you, Jeffrey, for your strength. Thank you for your enthusiasm, your knowledge, and thank you for your friendship. At this time, I invite you to rise in body or in spirit for El Malei Rachamim. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein Bamromim, Hametzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kiroshim Utorim, Kezohar Harakia, Mazhirim, Et Nishmat Jeffrey, Shehalacha Leolamo. Baal harachamim yastirehu, baseter knafav leolamim, vitror hachaim et nishmato. Adonai hu nachalato, vayanuach bashalom al mishkavo. v'nomar Amen. You may be seated. O you who dwell in the shelter of the Most High and abide in the protection of Shaddai, I say, Adonai, my refuge and stronghold, my God in whom I trust, that God will save you from the fowler's trap, from the destructive plague. God will cover you with pinions. You will find refuge under God's wings. God's fidelity is an encircling shield. God is sure, our immovable rock. All God's work is upright. Who can say, what is it that you do? The Eternal governs what is above and what is below, overseeing both the valleys of death and the heights of life. But what is a human being? Are we simply skin, flesh, blood, veins, nerves, muscle, and tissue? No. That which constitutes the real person is the soul, the rest being only the garments that cover our inner essence. When we depart this earth, we put off our outer coverings and continue to live by virtue of the soul, which is immortal. Adonai natan v'Adonai lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai mevarach. Adonai has given, Adonai has taken away. Blessed be the name of Adonai. We praise you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who forms us in the divine image, who nourishes and sustains us in your goodness. You cause all of us to die according to your wisdom. You know and number every soul. You implant immortal life within us. Blessed are you, Adonai, the true judge. I invite you to rise at this time for Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's Kaddish, which is written on the other side of your cards. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma, Divrach, Yerute, V'yamlich, Malchute, B'chayechon, V'yomechon, Uvchaye, Dechol, Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, Uvizman, Kariv, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam Ulmei Almaya. Yitbarach V'ishtabach V'itpa'ar V'itromam V'yitnaseh. V'yitadar V'yitale V'yitalal Shmei Dekudesha Barichu. Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata. Tushbechata V'nechemata. Ta'amaran V'alma V'imru Amen. Yehei Shlema Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru Amen. Osei Shalom B'imromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru Amen. May the one who grants mercy on high give consolation to all who mourn, to which we say, Amen. You may be seated. Eternal God, Master of mercy, give me the gift of remembering. May my memories of the dead be tender and true, undiminished by time. Let me recall them and love them as they were. Shelter me with the gift of tears. Let me express my sense of loss, my sorrow, my pain, as well as my love and words unspoken. Bless me with the gift of prayer. May I face you with an open heart, with trusting faith, unembarrassed and unashamed. Strengthen me with the gift of hope. May I always believe in the beauty of life, the power of goodness, the right of joy. May I surrender my being and the soul of the dead to your all-knowing compassion. We close with words that have traditionally been given to mourners in Jewish custom. Hamakom yenachem etchem betoch sha'ar le Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May God console you with all who mourn in Zion and Jerusalem. Now go forth in peace to life.